Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Liz and this is Let's Get Lizical, where we do everything card making. And today's the 25th of the month, so of course we're doing a Christmas card. If you want to follow along with me, it's hashtag HCHJ2026, and it just stands for Holiday Card Hijinks 2026. There are no prompts this year. The past 2 years I've done prompts just to give you guys an idea on what to do, but otherwise this year we're just kind of winging it. And for today I saw this picture up here on the left on Pinterest and thought I would recreate that as a Christmas card. So what we're going to do is we are going to use some Mama Elephant products today. I'm going to be using the Mixed Holiday Greetings, the Secret Santa, and the Reindeer Game sets. So I'll make sure to link those down below as long as they're still available. I believe they are. They're pretty much core for them for Christmas. And then I'm going to do these 3 little Polaroids on an A2 size card. So I cut these out. These are from Lawn Fawn. I bought these I think when I first started card making. So probably back in like 2017, 2018 at the latest, I would say. I am using the smaller one because you would never fit 3 of the big ones on here, or even 2, because like 2 is a little bit too big. So we're gonna use the smaller ones. So anyway, I pre-cut those out. To do the stamping, I cut out 3 white 2 1/8 by 1 3/4 inch rectangles to go behind here. They're a little bit bigger, but I'll just trim them afterwards. I just want them for placement right now. And then we're just going to place the image on here, color it in, glue the frame on, and we'll have our own little Polaroids. And I just took one of the coordinating papers, which was on the back of this red one, and we will use that to ground them. So I'll probably do it a bit maybe lower on the card or something, and then just lay them out. It's going to be a nice simple card for today. And there's not going to be too much to do, which is fun. Again, I only cut 3 of these, and then I was going to cut them again in white, but I'm like, why bother? I can just cut these, and then at least it gives them a little bit more stability for the frames anyway, because we're probably going to prop those up on some foam tape. This is from a few years ago, I believe. I don't know if there's a date on there. 2023. Okay, so this is from Studio Light in 2023. And yeah, so it's kind of like a little bit more vintage vibes, like 1970s maybe, Christmas with the color palette and the prints and stuff. But it's a super cute pack, and I just decided to use some pattern paper for today. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay these out on here. And I'm going to do this in real time right now, and then I'll switch over to voiceover after. But what I'm going to do is I am going to do just randomly wherever. This is one of those grip mats from Waffle Flower, and I'm just going to do that. And we're going to pick, so let's start with Santa. What do we want Santa to be doing? Maybe we'll do, this is like a good way to do this. I'm thinking I want Santa with the toy bag, but do we want it to be a secret? I don't know. No, let's do Happy Santa. Because I think for the sentiment, I'm going to use the, it's the most wonderful time of the year, so I want something that's a bit more cheery. So what I'm going to do is place this little guy here. And it looks like he pretty much fits. I want him to like balance on his foot like that, or we could do it like this, like so he's hefting the bag, but I don't know. I guess we'll do it like this. Okay, and then I'm just going to leave that, and I'm going to pick it up so that I don't move it from its spot. And then I just need to know that I'm going to be lining this up in the bottom right corner, because like I said, it's a little bit off. Which is fine. And then I'm going to do the same. You could just use the same frame for all 3, but just switch it over to the next one just in case. I don't know why just in case. It's the same die. It's not going to change. So I'm gonna line up the next one, which will be a reindeer. And I think if Santa's leaning this way, maybe we have him on the left side and then put the reindeer on the right side. So we want one of these ones, probably this dancing one actually, on the other side. That way they're kind of both doing the same thing in the opposite direction. And just pick that up. And then for the red one, we're just gonna stamp the sentiment, so we won't need too much there. There won't be any much or any, I might color it a little bit. Maybe I'll give it a little bit of a vignette. But let's just grab that out. I think this one's these two are probably the most used in the set. I don't even know. Yeah, I've used this one too. I haven't used all of these yet, but have a warm and cozy holiday season is one of my favorite ones because I like to do a lot of like critters and sweaters and with coffees and hot chocolates and whatnot. So it's great for that. And I think this one, because Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year. I love Christmas so much. And then I'm going to just center that one. There, looks about right. I'm not 100% over it, so hopefully it's good. And then we will stamp them. And because I don't want them to move, because they're kind of like suspended in the middle of my Misty, I'm going to have to leave them in here while I color them. And then take them out after I restamp. And I probably could have done that in a different color, but maybe I will do some kind of like blending or something around the edges. Okay, so I will move over to voiceover for the rest of this video, and you guys can watch me color and assemble the card. So I will switch over to that and be right back. Okay, so voiceover Liz here. So just gonna do some like standard coloring, nothing fancy. These are smaller images with a lot of detail, especially this Santa here. So I didn't want to get, you know, too involved in it. Not sure why I didn't color the button. I went around it for some reason. So I'll probably have to do that after. But anyway, just did, you know, standard Santa, the reindeer. I left the It's Most Wonderful Time of the Year sentiment to last, and I took that one out of the Misty to color. That one you'll see that I redo it after because the markers smudge the sentiment. I am using Lawn Fawn inks, but I do find that it still smudges even though it's like a Copic friendly ink. I might switch over to a different one. We'll see. I have been using the same Lawn Fawn inks for the last 9 years for all of my coloring, but I do find that it does still smudge sometimes. So you'll see when I do it again that I did my coloring for that panel first and then stamped it later, because you'll see I left a mistake in. I left a few mistakes in today. Today is not my day for card making. I actually had a totally different card planned, but it just was not working out. I was originally going to do like a window card with the heat resistant acetate from Simon Says Stamp and, you know, make a card out of that and stamp on it, because I actually bought that years ago and I just haven't used it for heat embossing on acetate, and I did it today and like it still warps and I don't know how to prevent it from doing that. Like I used the low setting on my embossing gun, like my heat gun, but it's still warped enough for like the card to become deformed. Maybe I'll try doing it the way that Ardith does hers. She always uses like tin foil underneath it to like help disperse the heat. So maybe I'll try it that way next time and see if I get more luck with that. Also, trying to get the static off of these is ridiculous. I used so much anti-static powder and it still clung to it, like all the embossing powder that I used, and I had to like dust a lot of it off, but I still couldn't get everything, and it just made it look messy. So I kind of discarded that card. And then I went through my Pinterest. Like, I keep a Pinterest board of I call it everything cards. And I just, any card that I find on my Pinterest homepage that I like, I'll save it into there for inspiration for later, whether it's a layout, color scheme, whatever. And this one, I like the layout of it. I loosely used it as a reference, I guess. The other card used like a much wider band in the background. This one, I just kind of used it to ground the images. And then they kind of had it like up and down on it, which is what I do, but I also didn't place them exactly correct. So you'll see me try to figure out ways around that and how to fix it. So I will explain that when I get there, but you'll see. But anyway, so I'm just gluing these Polaroid frames onto the panels, and then I will trim them after. First you'll see me color this, so I kind of just like marked the corners of this panel, and then I'm going to color around it, but I didn't like the way it was looking because I did it like a little square like I did here, and then I did a little bit more circular, but like you could still see the square-ish look on it. So I decided I didn't love this, and then I was just going to color over it to make it blend a little bit better, but it just kind of like smudged the ink. It did it a little bit to start, and then I added more marker to it to maybe just like make it look intentional, but it just looks messy. So, you know, don't do it if it doesn't work. And then you'll see that I cut a new panel and did that again. I did just cut out the whole part where I refilmed it, the cutting process, but I will show you how I colored it the second time around. Like you can see that it's just like smudging here. So this time I am going to mark out those four corners. I'm going to use my darker marker first, but I'm going to do it in a circle within that square, and then color in the rest of the square, and then go around with the lighter marker, kind of blend it out. Then I grabbed my acrylic block, scribbled a bit of the darker marker on there, and picked it up with the lighter half, which is a trick I learned from Amy R's channel. And instead of doing it second, I did it first, and then I was able to stamp on top of that without it having, you know, to smudge anything. So it's much easier to do it this way. So if you are doing a similar card, then I would suggest doing your coloring or ink blending first and then stamping your sentiment on after, instead of doing it first, just in case the ink smudges. You don't want to have to do it again. So you're just going to glue on this one, and then we can start assembling our card. This card's pretty simple, pretty quick to come together, as long as you don't make as many mistakes as I did. When I was placing the three on the card, I did the middle one up a little bit higher than I originally wanted to. So I decided that I was going to add a bit of like embellishment to it just to help mask it. It didn't do it completely, but I think it did it enough. So you'll see here in a second. I'm just trimming everything off to make sure everything's straight. I used the scissors originally for the Polaroid frames, but it's a little bit easier to use your trimmer. And then I decided to add the strip an inch up from the bottom of the card. We're doing a landscape card today, just because of the way it lays out. You probably also noticed that when I was coloring around the reindeer, the marker exploded a bit around that left antler. I didn't think it was too bad. And I did try to fix it a bit on the reindeer itself because it bled into the antlers. It is a bit of a dark spot there, but I might try to see if I can blend it out a little bit with the lighter marker. But I really didn't have to do it again, so I just kind of left it. I think it's okay. I did blend it out a little bit more afterwards, and it seems to be doing a little bit better now. So it's not as bad. Here I am placing that middle Polaroid, which is what I did a little bit wrong. Like, it's a little bit slightly higher than the bottom of the band. I would have preferred it to go either even higher or a little bit lower just to cover it, because it just looks off a little bit when it's placed this way, to me anyway. Most people probably wouldn't notice or care.
But I decided to pull out my Simon's bow dies. I have used these a few times, but I do have an issue with the way that they're not layering dies, I guess, and I probably should have thought of that a little bit harder when I ordered them. And there is a way to make them more layered, which is what I'm doing right now. So I popped out those pieces that get cut out, which you'd think, why? Because you're putting it kind of back in, but it does add that extra layer of dimension by, you know, poking those out and then adding a different layer underneath. And then I'm going to cut actually a second bow and cut out the tails on it to give it even more dimension. If anybody has any idea on like a good layered bow set, let me know which one it is down in the comments and I will check it out. I think Pretty Pink Posh might have a nice set. But yeah, I'm looking for some good layered bows, and if I can't find any, maybe one day I'll, you know, just make my own. I like it when the bows look more intentionally layered than flat. It just adds that little bit of extra, and yes, you can do what I'm doing now and layer it yourself. It's just a lot more work to have to do it this way than it would be if this was like a 3-piece die with a full back, middle section, and then the upper layer. Even a 4-piece die where you put the middle portion on top of that as well, just again for another layer of dimension, would be perfect. Actually, 4-layer bows would be perfect for me. But yeah, so I just added this to the bottom. It doesn't necessarily cover it up. It's because I had to put the bow at the bottom of the cutout, but it does help distract it a little bit. So I did like doing that better. You could also add in some like pine boughs or something underneath it just to help fill in that area and cover it up as well. But yeah, that's pretty much our card for today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe because I'd love to have you here. And I will be back again on Friday for another video. So until next time, thanks guys. Bye.